Good morning. This is Melisha with Love for Life Wellness. I am so sorry for the delay, but we were having some technical issues, but it's okay. We
Yes,
are here this
yes.
morning. And so I am happy that you're here with me. We have our guest, Evangelist Terri Wooten-Graham, and we will hear from her shortly. But let me introduce myself. Terri, if you want to, what I do is when I start my show, I start sharing it on my pages. So what I'm going to do is I got to first make sure everything is all connected. And you can, because we are live, Terri, you can share this to your group. I don't have access to share it to that group. So all you have to do is hit the share button and share it to your group. Okay.
I'm looking for the share button. I see audio, video, cam, mic, chat, and leave. What am I doing wrong?
I'm not sure. Do you see where we're broadcasting live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or no, so do can you go to your pages to do a watch party in your page?
Yeah, but are you still gonna be able to see me? I have to
Yes,
pull up another
yes.
window.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Stand by.
Yes.
Okay.
Alrighty. No, this is where I want to be. Alrighty. I'm sorry, everybody, for the delay. We are having some technical difficulties this morning, but it is all good. It is all good. Okay, great. All right, that is live, and I'm going to start that. Um, let's see. Sister to Sister Saturday. We're getting ready to start the show. Anytime we start having a problem like this, that means that it is going to be good. Terri, I think I started a watch party in your group. I don't know if you can have access to that or not, but we are getting ready to go. We got to get to going. So we are ready to start. Terri, if this does not go live, if you have people that are on, they can go to my YouTube channel, Melisha Bailey, and also start there. Terri, where'd you go?
Don't want to take up studio
I'm
time
sorry.
to do all that. I'll see if I can pull up on my laptop, but other than that, the show must go on. Let's roll it. I can always share it
Yeah, you
later.
can do it. Actually, you can do it from your laptop or your phone. Let me see. I
It
tried
won't
to
let
share.
me.
It won't
It
let
won't
you?
let me. Yeah, it will. It tells me I can go live, but it doesn't give me the option of watch party.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Your guest, your group, they can also go to my YouTube channel, and I'll be able to see any comments on my YouTube channel because it is shown live on YouTube, and the YouTube channel is Melisha Bailey, and you can type out a message. Are you on your phone or on your laptop, Terri?
I'm on my phone. I'm pulling up the laptop now. I got it in front of me, so that way you can keep rolling.
Okay. Well, we are going to keep rolling,
And you look
and
beautiful, by the way.
oh, thank you. All right. So I've started a watch party on my business, on my page. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Now, once you start your watch party, you need to turn your volume down like me because I don't want to have two different types
Uh-oh.
of things going.
Let's
So
see.
I'm going to go ahead and edit this. All right. Hello, Anna Garcia. Nice to see you this morning. I'm glad you are here with me, with Terri Graham, and we are going to start our show. We're having a few little technical difficulties, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So,
It's
Terri
all good.
is really trying to share this in her group. She has a group called T Dion's Women's Group. And so we're trying to get this so it goes live in her group so that people in her group can watch this show live. And Terri, I can't share it in your group because even though I'm a part of your group, I don't have access to it. So you might text your what's her name, Dania, and see if she can
Yeah.
open it up and so that you can share it live in your group. But anyway,
Okay.
we're good. The show must go on. So anyway, hello, Janetta. Nice to see you this morning. So for those that don't know me, that may be watching this on a replay, my name is Melisha Bailey. I am a nutritional health and wellness coach. I live in Springfield, Missouri with my husband, and I just got finished coming from Seattle to see my son and my new baby granddaughter, which is so exciting.
Yay.
I also have my business is called Love for Life Wellness, where I offer a variety of health coaching options for you. I do detoxes. I have a 30-day jumpstart, and I'm getting ready to launch a wellness membership, which is going to be great because every month you can have access to coaching in a group, and also we have a once a week a master class on Facebook, once a week Zoom calls for group coaching, and if you want one-on-one time with me, you can upgrade to a VIP for a short amount of time. So if you are interested in really starting a health journey, I would love to be able to help you. You would come in as a founding member, and it's very inexpensive to be a founding member. So that's going to open up very soon, but I've got about 2 or 3 people in the group already, and I would love to get about 10 women to start for for coaching. So if you're ready to start making some changes in your health and your wellness, and you need a little bit of help, I've got everything you need. I have materials that you can download. It'll be in a course on a website where you can go through it at your own pace. But my Sister to Sister Saturdays are weekly broadcasts where I showcase different health and wellness coaches or different people from around the country, sharing their tips and ideas for how to help you to live your healthiest life. So this morning I have Terri Wooten-Coughman. She is the mother of my nieces and my nephews, my brother. She was married to my brother, and so I'm just excited to have her. So Terri, I was looking for your accolades, and I must have deleted some. I must have deleted the website, the thing. But how I normally start my show is just give me a brief description about you, some of the things that you're doing, and then we'll just start asking questions from there. The show should be about 30 to 40 minutes long, and hopefully I will get people to join us and ask questions. You won't be able to see the questions, but I will, and I'll have them. I have my phone is right here to the side of me. So if I'm turning my head, don't worry. That's because I'm looking for the questions that are coming that way. So without further ado, let me introduce Terri Wooten-Coughman. Hello, Terri. Thank you for being on the show today.
Well, hello, Melisha. Thank you for having me on there. And hello to everybody, the audience watching and that will be watching later on. And if I keep turning my head, I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking to the laptop to see if we can, but the show must go on. So, and yeah, I apologize. I know it's about 4 minutes off schedule trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. So you all please forgive me because I'm a TV and radio lady myself, and we do like to start on time. So please forgive me for that. I always like to tell people, just think of tall Terri. I'm a 6 foot tall ex-college basketball player. So I always like to tell people I'm 6 feet with big feet coming down the street and loving it. That's me, So yes, I'm evangelist, but please just feel free to call me Terri. And thank you for being on with us today. I must say to you, Melisha, I have watched your show, and you are amazing. You do a wonderful job with your guests, and you do a wonderful job hostessing. I knew you had it in you all the time. So I'm very proud of you for doing the Love for Life wellness. And I know this is supposed to be about me, what I'm bringing to this table today, but I have to say, sis, that's what I call, I've been calling for over 30 something years, sis. At one point she was really, really sick. And I just want you all to know that's watching, she was really, really sick. I mean, we didn't even talk for maybe a couple of years or so because she was just processing and dealing with that sickness. And so you all, this is a big passion of hers, and the products and the things she had for you, it's all coming from the heart because as you can look at her and tell, she's gorgeous and she's healthy. You can see it in her face. She's healthy and she's smiling and she's whole. And so she's taking that love and that deliverance and all that God has brought her through, and she's sharing it with all of us and making sure we all follow suit and be healthy and whole. And so my role today is dealing with the emotional health. If it's all right with you, sis, can I show them the book, the second book I've written? Can I
Yes.
can I show it? Okay, this book, You Are Not a Toilet. Learning to see yourself through God's eyes. Okay, and so that's my second book that's out. And one of the things I deal with in that book, my background is also on the undergraduate and graduate level psychology. After years of playing basketball and started my family, when they got grown, I went back and got my degrees in psychology and then went on to grad school and got certified in marriage and family therapy. But I had already had decades of experience in all of this prior to all of that. And I've written this second book. All right, you all, we're talking about emotional health now. Melisha is big about what I'm big about, the total person. So that means spiritual health, that means physical health, that means emotional health. And there's such a stigma about mental health, because, oh, you're crazy. No, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. When you think about Melisha, when you think about all the shootings, the people that go up and shoot up schools, and people that murder, and people that do all of these horrible things to other humans, trust me, it did not start that day. Somewhere, something was going on in the emotions. And if someone could have reached those individuals prior, we wouldn't have it on the news about this school shot up. And that when you hear about stuff like that, people are wanting to be heard. When people are going through and when people are suffering and dealing with whatever it is they're dealing with, when you deal with people that trivialize it, oh, girl, you're just being too sensitive. Oh, man, toughen up. Okay, we can say all of these things to people, but when we're done saying what we're going to say to people, the problem remains for them. And they still need help. And they still need someone to hear them. All right. And so when we just brush it off or dismiss it, or you're just tripping, or you just, okay, as you can see, people find a way to be heard, even if it means destroying other people. And so my goal through the book I've written, You Are Not a Toilet, learning to see yourself through God's eyes, it really is all about recognizing that you are somebody, you are of value, you are of worth. Now, I'm a sign language instructor, but I can't. I want to hold this phone, so I can't really show you the different signs for valuable and worthy and all of that. And then I have big basketball hands, so. But that it'll take up the whole screen. It'd be like, what the heck is that? But
It does. Takes up the whole screen.
right, it took the whole screen, right? Like I'm about to palm a basketball. But but it's about knowing, and this sounds so elementary. Well, just love yourself. Well, just know who you are in God. Well, you are somebody. All of those really turn out to be pat answers, because even though we say that to one another, when we go home and process at night or throughout the day or whenever we're alone with our thoughts, if you don't feel like you're somebody, it doesn't matter how many times people say it. We have to be emotionally whole. It's not enough to just be physically whole. We have to be emotionally whole. Dania and I have started Melisha, Healing You coaching and counseling session, and we have our LLC. All right. One of the biggest things we're going to be pushing, that it is okay for quote unquote normal people to need some help. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean you're fit for the straitjacket. But as you all can see, depression is running rampant. And Melisha, I'm sorry to say, there's as much depression in the church as outside of the church.
It,
Something's wrong.
It really is. And you would think, because I think sometimes in the church we tell people to pray our way through, but sometimes we need to be able to talk, not religiously or not so spiritually, but somebody to
Right.
really get down on your level and talk with you and not
Yes,
have those
ma'am.
lofty, but really
The
get
Greek
down to the
translation
nitty-gritty
and the Hebrew translation, and yeah.
and really meet you where you are to bring about the healing. And I just think we don't see that in families a lot of times. We don't see
Mhm.
that in our churches, and we don't see that in our communities. And especially when you're dealing with the African American community, it's a stigma if you
You
have
taking my
some
notes.
mental issues. And so that's going to be my article. I write an article for Unite. And I think even during this time of COVID, I think a lot of us, some people are experiencing some depression, some PTSD, that emotional health with the COVID, with the protests and all this. It's really wearing on our emotions. And so our
Mhm.
talk today is about surrounding yourself with people. So how do you know if you got toxic people in front of you, or and how do you tell what would a toxic person? How do they make you feel? What does that look like?
Girl, if I didn't know any, if I had known you, because I've known Alicia since college before I even met her brother. If I didn't know you any better, I would swear you was a mind reader, because everything you just said is everything I was getting ready to say. Um, First of all, one of my, I don't know if I did it for the Terry Graham radio show or for a podcast, but you mentioned something about how and that's a pat answer we say in church. We'll just pray about it, pray about it. Well, I did a show called Watch as well as Pray. So it is not enough to just pray about it. We have to watch to see, to your point and to answer your question, how do you know? You watch and see the effect that person is having on you. And we deal with the most in our families and in our church. That those are the two strongest points, and that's where the problem is, because it's our families, because it's our church. You know, we play the family card. If I'm abusive towards you, Melisha, and then you respond, and now I'm going to play the family card. Well, you're my sister-in-law. Why would you do that? But what should be said is, well, Terry, you started it. Play the family card at the beginning of it. Don't we do this abuse to one another, and then we get upset when they handle it. And it's like, well, play the family card then. I've come up with a term called BATS, BAATS. People that are bully, aggressive, abusive, and toxic with a smile. Because
Mm.
when people are close to you, and it's usually family or church members, they feel that they can treat you any kind of way. And then when you decide to take a stand and start setting boundaries, then they want to play the family card, but play the family card before you open your mouth. Melisha, we're not thinking before we speak. Remember, we were little, we were taught, think before you speak. All problems, if you think about everything, could be traced back to what we say with this. And people use their tongues for as weapons of mass destruction, stronger than missiles and bombs, and the emotional damage that that does. And what I've had to learn to do is replace people that were bringing toxicity into my life, because that's just like drinking poison. If I rather deal with a healthy me than an unhealthy you. Now,
Mm.
if there's a situation, right? I came up with that phrase. I said I'm gonna have to put that in my third book that I'm writing. I'd rather deal with a healthy me, and y'all feel free to use this, sis, use it. I'd rather deal with an unhealthy me than an unhealthy you. Now, people are broken all in the church and out of the church. But people don't want to deal with their issues. And when you don't deal with your issues will deal with you. And so what's starting to happen is, okay, deep seated issues, you won't deal with it. But yet that behavior is hurting people, hurt people. That's true. So you're hurting me because you got hurt and brokenness inside you. But got too much pride or too much shame or maybe a mixture to deal with it. And so what's
Well,
happening is, if people don't deal with their issues, but they keep lashing out at you, you're trying to hold on like, okay, 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 but it's steady damaging you. And so if they won't deal with their issues and they won't acknowledge it and they won't talk about it, it's like, okay, you know what? This behavior has got to stop towards me so we can be in relationship. Now, if you're not willing to deal with your issue or look inside yourself, you have that right, but you and I can't remain in relationship. And sometimes you can't completely cut a person off, but you can limit your conversation and you can limit what access they have to you. And so, and replace it with people in your circle that are willing to deal with their issues. Sis, if you and I got a problem with each other, we should be willing to talk about it because we both want to maintain our relationship, which we have for over 30 something years. But we can't just continue in the name of family or church, damage one another with our tongues, because that's where it all comes down to, the tongue. We can't continue to do that and then expect you to remain in that relationship, because as you grow and the Lord heals you and you become more and more emotionally healthy, your spirit, your emotions will not allow you to tolerate people treating you like a toilet. And you have to just kind of limit your conversation and limit your distance, pray for them and love them from a distance.
Terri, I've got Anna on, Janetta on, Danielle, Mark
Hi,
Gibbons,
Anna, Janetta. Hi, you
um,
all.
Sheila, and Sharon Weatherly
First
is
Lady
on the list.
Weatherly.
And
That's
so,
First Lady
well, that's
Weatherly. Yeah.
Sharon is
Oh, her sister. That's her
Bonnie's
sister.
sister.
Yeah, that's her
Bonnie is
sister.
Janetta's sister.
Sister-in-law.
So
Yeah,
we're
that's
glad
her
to have you guys
sister-in-law.
on. Thank you for being on today.
Yes,
If you
hey,
have any
hey,
questions
Sharon,
or you
all of
want to say
you.
hello to Terri, please say
I'm
hello. So
listening.
we can see, and I'm going to check another part to see if I've got anybody that's got any questions or any comments or anything like that. Yeah, but we've got people on. So the behaviors that you made that we see coming up could be lashing out. And what about some type of distancing? Then we start, and then the response to people's behaviors, or then we become distant, and so then they want to say, well, something is wrong with you, or you're in sin, or you're doing something wrong, or what is wrong with their
No.
attitude and things like that. When you begin to distance because people are putting their emotional baggage on you and you start retreating, then they want to label you that something is wrong with you. Do you see that a lot?
A whole lot. And that is why we don't always take a stand for ourselves, because we don't want that. We don't want that. It's almost become a passive aggressive behavior, for lack of a better way to say it. When you start to, like, okay, in my case, I'm literally, and I'm on live saying this, I'm literally retraining my family how to deal with me, because I'm not the Terri they're used to, who just going to let you keep making me the scapegoat and everything. I always make, if there was ever an altercation, well, then it must be my fault. I'm too sensitive. I overreact. What I learned is that none of that is true. Just like, think about this. Let me simplify this real quick. Think about if you go near a hot stove and you touch it. What's our first reaction? We jump because it's hot, right? That's built into us. We don't, if we touch a hot stove that's burning hot and we don't react, something's wrong, because we have, in other words, God built into us nerves and the central nervous system to react when something's hot. Well, what I found out, the Lord also built into our emotions. If you come at me wrong, be like, well, baby, I don't mean no harm. Well, if you bring it right, I'll take it right. You see what I'm saying? There's something built into us that we know that, okay, that was meant to hurt me. You said, and it is not that you're overreacting and that's built into us, just like we react when we touch a hot stove. Our emotions tell us, okay, that was wrong, what just was said to you. And so, and then we react. And then, like you said, when you, like in my case, I've started setting boundaries. I had an issue where, I won't say names or nothing like that, never, but I was being cursed out to high heaven, family member, a guy, yelling and screaming at me, calling me a B over 15 times. I lost count after that. And he was closer to me than my breath. And so I had to call the police, because to make it stop, because it just kept, kids crying and all of that. Okay, so once I called the police, and later on, now I'm the bad guy for calling the police, and it's the family card and all of that. But the thing is, I had to make it stop. We have a right, and in our churches, we as Christians, somewhere in there, we got the impression that we couldn't set boundaries,
Right.
set healthy boundaries, or take a stand. But if you think about Jesus, all throughout his 3 years on earth, his ministry, Jesus was never mousy. Jesus took a stand wherever he needed to take a stand. He didn't cuss people out. We don't have to curse people out. We don't have to be nasty. And as a matter of fact, when I have to approach people about their behavior, my suggestion, I've written it in my book, and you all, it works. When you have to address somebody, especially like even in your churches, a pastor or something like that, or a family member, whatever, you pray first. Number one, pray. Ask the Lord to check your spirit. Make sure you're not just using this for an opportunity to get somebody told, you know. And then number two, address that person in love, not in front of an audience, but you address that person in love. And when you're praying, you ask the Lord to touch their heart while they're sleeping, to be receptive to what you got to say. So what we have to learn, both in the church and out of the church, if we want to be heard, we have to, first of all, come with the spirit of humility. Meek, everything happens in the meek and lowly department. That's going to be in my third book that I'm writing. And love, to bring correction. And if they will not hear you, then you've done your part. You leave them on the altar, go on about your business. And in terms of having to distance yourself, because what did I say? I'd rather have a healthy me than deal with an unhealthy you. We have a right in God's eyes to not let people boo-boo on us like we're toilets just because the sun rose. And that brings accountability. And Melisha, we don't want to be accountable for our actions. That's the other side of it. I have to be willing to be accountable. If you tell me, Terry, da 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 da, I can't do. Well, since you did no, I need to take stock, especially if you brought it to me in love, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not in front of an audience. And see, we're good, especially our community. We love an audience, and then that's when, well, I'm gonna keep it 100. No, that's ugly. It's nasty. But if we do it in a spirit of love, spirit of meekness and humility, like the way the Lord deals with us, because if the Lord dealt with us the way we deal with one another, would none of us be serving God? None of us. But then we have to be willing to be accountable, and that's also what's not happening. People don't want to take ownership of their mess, and like you said, they want to put it on you, and sometimes they're lashing out on you, and they're not realizing it's because of their brokenness. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth is speaking. That means that's what's going on in the majority of your heart, that brokenness. And that's why sister so-and-so is nasty to you all the time. And brothers, and your uncle or cousin, whoever, always got something toxic or throwing shade or messy towards you. There's brokenness there. But when you ask them, they be the first ones. The ones that do the most damage are the ones that say, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. Are you okay?
That's what I was going to say, because a lot of times people don't realize that they are broken, and then they project that brokenness onto other people, trying to get people to be broken down with them. And then everything breaks down, and then it breaks down, it breaks apart, and then it's hard to put it back together, and especially emotionally, healthily. And so then comes the other side, that then people start self-soothing with alcohol, drugs, sex, or whatever. Even in the church, people will do that because they're broken. There's no boundaries, and then they're taking on other people's garbage and all that stuff. And so then they start to self-soothe, which ends up still going down a horrible roller coaster. And it's happening all the time.
You are absolutely right. And then what happens is, when people leave our churches, right? When people leave because they're tired of dealing with that, let's say inside the church, then the first thing we say is, well, they didn't want to be saved. And that's not the case. If I just dogged you over the pulpit, I done got you told, and I threw shade and all of that. I keep doing that. Now, maybe everybody else don't, but people are smart. They know, okay, something's rotten in Denmark here. No offense to anybody in Denmark, but then we soothe ourselves by saying, well, they didn't want to be saved. No, they just didn't want to keep being dogged out. You know, They don't want to keep being shamed. We shame and shut down. We have key words that we use in church, and I'm getting ready preaching. I'm gonna need y'all to pray because I'm gonna deal with judging, But the thing is, if someone's doing something that's, definitely gonna take them on the path of Christ or whatever, and especially they're doing it openly, if you say anything, well, don't judge me, don't judge me. See, we have certain words to shut people down to keep them from keeping us accountable, and we have to be willing to be accountable to one another. I can't just do anything. You can't just do anything. So part of that with the emotional health, that's why we got a lot of depressed people in the house of God, because a lot of mess and shaming and dogging and humiliating is going on in the church. And if you leave, then you didn't want to be saved. And we got to really stop and deal with these issues and take accountability.
And that accountability takes some soul searching, and you have to be real with yourself. And so when I work with clients, that's one of the things I really help my clients to get to the heart of who they are and be real and come out of the closet and not sugarcoat who they are, who they want to be, but really be real, do some real soul searching. And sometimes your realness people may not like the real you. And so you have to be able to say, this is me. And I'm not going to let your emotional baggage keep me from being my best self, because I have to be authentic. I have to be real, and I've got to be me. And so I think as people grow and mature, we change. Our opinions may change. Our thought process may change. At the core, we are still who we are, but we are developing to who we really are. And so we have to be willing to change. And that means emotionally, physically, spiritually, and not let people surround us with their baggage, putting that on us. And that's where the healing comes in. So let's talk a little bit about how we heal from emotionally people that are people's emotional behaviors and their baggage that they put on us that keep us stunted from going to where we need to be.
Exact. You are on point, like 1,000% on point. You're 1,000%, not even 100. You're 1,000.
And I've learned this through. I'm 58 years old, and so I've learned this through my own transition through life. You've known me for 30 years. I am not the same person that I was 30 years ago. I've been saved. Gave my life to Christ. Tyler's 29, 28 years ago, but I am different, and I'm different. I think differently. I have evolved. I have matured, but I'm not the same Melisha Bailey or Melisha Wooten that got saved 28 years ago. And if you are still stuck in who you were, whether you're saved, unsaved, we should be evolving whatever part of life. Because I have people that are on this call that are Christians, non-Christian, Muslim, and so I don't want to just say church folks, but people.
Right, but we all got to grow if you're human.
That are part of my group. So I don't want to just do it that way, but any group, whether you're going to a mosque or your temple, whatever. You can find people that are in your communities that want to keep you down and that don't want you to grow. So let's talk about some steps to help us to get to some emotional well-being.
Okay, I'm glad you asked, because as I've parlayed in my book, and I'm trying to figure out why. I guess because I hardly ever do live from my laptop. I always do it from the phone. And this laptop is asking me all kinds of questions. Yes, use camera. But camera is, that's what it is. Okay. I forgot. Okay. Step one. Okay. Now it's the same with Dania and myself let's see. Our healing you. Our coaching and counseling session, because we're going to have people from all types of religions, right? This camera is like the opposite of whichever, so I'm learning but healing you. And that's why we titled it that, because it's all about you and bringing healing. And Our clients will be made up of all kinds, religious, non-religious, and that's okay. As long as they're human, we can help them. All right. And so my steps are number one, I do think that even someone, let's say that's atheist, all right? And if that's what they choose to be, that's fine. But one of the things that helps lift us outside of ourselves is knowing and at least acknowledging that there's a higher power. You know, for some people it might be Allah, for some of us maybe Jesus, for some it may be something else. But I think an important step is to acknowledge that there's someone, like the song says, someone bigger than you and I. Because if all we have is us, when you're going through hell, you can't even deliver your own self from hell. Okay, and that's why people turn to drugs, promiscuous sex, alcohol, because they're trying to drown out the pain.
Right.
So at some point, even someone that doesn't acknowledge anything spiritual, at some point, at least acknowledge that I can't do this by myself.
There
Okay,
and
so that's
in my coaching practice, there has to be some type of spiritual connection because we're not here on this earth by ourselves, and so
and
that's
right
key.
there.
And so for someone that said that they don't have any spiritual connection, that person I worry about, because there is something in someone outside of ourselves, whatever you call it, it's there. So okay, step number one, spiritual
Right.
connection. Step number two.
Yeah. And I like the way you put that spiritual connection. We have to have that because, and in line with that spiritual connection, recognize that you're of some worth.
Mm-hmm.
Most, I would say 90% of depression, if not 95% of depression, despair, all of that, somewhere in there, you're feeling unworthy of love, unworthy of being heard. Maybe you've been dismissed so much. And this is where people go to shooting and killing everybody, and then they kill themselves because they're making a statement. It's not about the people that they shot in those schools. It has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with about somebody's going to hear me. Look, I'm a human. I'm important. I have rights. I'm trying to be heard. No one is hearing me, so I'm going to make them hear me. And then they go and cause pain for untold families. And then rather than take accountability, they shoot themselves. You see what I'm saying? We're seeing that in our country quite a bit. Why? Because that they weren't heard. So they make the spiritual connection, number one. Number two, have to believe that you're worthy of attention, of love, of being helped. Okay. Number three, realize that it is okay to get help. If you know, as you're trying to make spiritual connection that may not be going the way you need it to go see therapists, counselors. You don't have to go to per se a psychiatrist with an I. You can, or you don't even have to go to a psychologist with an O. You can see counselors. You need to be around people that will affirm your value,
That will
affirm your
affirm
worth,
you, uplift you, guide you. That's where counselors
edify
come in.
you.
That's where
Yeah,
coaches come in,
yeah,
because
and counseling.
sometimes we can't do it by ourselves. We need help. A
We
lot of
cannot.
people, you want to do it by themselves, but you need help. And whether you're on a spiritual journey, a health journey,
We all
emotional
do,
journey, you need help. And it's okay to get help. And
and
there's
it's
no
okay.
stigma to saying, I need help. I need help losing weight. I need help with my emotional health. I need help to stop drinking. I need help to stop cussing. You know what I'm saying? We need help. Love it.
We need help. So to be able to, like you said, and just like how you said that, we have to keep saying that. And that helps to affirm that person's value by letting them know it's almost like I'm okay, you're okay. And we can share with them, look, we've all needed help, all of us. That's number three. Number four, and this also, you're going to need help to do this. You have to start to replace toxic people in your life with healthy people. Now, if you yourself are broken, but you're willing to, sis, you set the stage in the beginning. I mean, you took all my thoughts. Did you set the? Oh, I love it. It just confirmed. I love confirmation. Just confirm that I'm on the right track with my books and everything like that. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to realize It's not going to be the easiest of journey, but it's going to be the most worthwhile. And find that person, that coach, that counselor. And Dania, in my case, it's both. Get that where, because we're going to do just like what you said, we're going to affirm your value, we're going to edify you, we're going to build you up, we're going to tell you, you know what, you're all right, there's nothing wrong with you. It takes a big person and one full of courage to say, hey, something is wrong here, because I can't stop cursing people out. I can't, I want to shoot somebody. I can't stop, I can't put the bottle down. So that's that. But simultaneously start to remove toxic people out of your life. Now, there's some people that you can just cut off completely, but there's going to be others, especially you start talking about family and church, that you can't cut them out of your life completely, but recognize that, you know what, watch, like you say, not just, well, pray about it, pray about it, pray about it. Watch and see what effect this person is having on you. Stop being in their company. See, when we're in people's company, we want to affect them with the A for the better. But when you're no longer affecting them with the A, but they're infecting you with an IN, it's time to, baby, boo boo, deuces, peace in the Middle East. God bless you. I love you, but I'm going to have to love you from way over here. Start to distance yourself, limit your conversation. Now, as y'all can see, I'm talkative. But sis, I have learned with certain folks, because they will not deal with the toxicity in their mouth. So I limit my conversation. Hard to believe, but honey, I can keep it short, and they be tripping. I can keep it short and sweet, and I'm out, because I know that this can turn south, and I no longer allow people to boo boo on me, because I'm not a toilet. So you get rid of you slowly replace toxic people with healthy people that will affirm you. And then number 5, again, reiteration. Because as you can see, sis, you've known me forever too. And you see, I'm not the same Terri, not even of 20 years ago, because I have everything, and I teach and preach on my TV shows, conferences, whatever, radio show. I live what I tell you all to do. Everything I'm telling you all to do, I'm doing it or have done it. And y'all can see that, oh, this girl is emotionally healthy. So walk in that and be willing to believe. And that's back to what Sis said about the spiritual connection. Whoever your higher power is, recognize that higher power loves you unconditionally. And you got to, I've heard the Lord tell me, Terri, let that be enough. See, we get God's approval, or whatever your higher power is, but then we go back, we backtrack and try to get the approval of others who's not interested in affirming you or giving you approval. We have to stop that. Let your higher power be enough. Let your higher power, let that love from your higher power teach you to love yourself. And I can best wrap it up in this song. I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me.
That's great. That's almost where we're going to end. But when you were talking, sometimes replacing our toxic people, sometimes you need to just back away, spend some time alone, getting to know who you are, valuing yourself, and then the right people will organically happen, where those people will that you've like let go, and you're spending time by yourself, affirming yourself, building yourself up, feeding your mind, your soul, and your spirit to yourself, and then the right type of people will start coming, and those people will be replaced organically, because that's how it's supposed to be. And so you don't have to go out looking for people to replace. It'll happen.
Nope.
Spending that time to yourself, that is
you
so
just
important.
described my life as it is now. Mm-hmm.
Loving who you are.
Yes, ma'am.
And
go ahead.
affirming yourself. We don't need other people to affirm us. We got to be able to affirm ourselves. And so that is key.
But when you've been told all your life that you're not worthy of affirmation,
right?
It's all kind of like me. I was always told, you talk too much, or you overreact. And see, we believe these things that we hear about ourselves, and we take that into our adulthood, and think that we're the problem. But the Lord showed me, Terry, my gifting is in my mouth. And I
Mm.
love talking about how much I can talk. I got something to say. Some folks don't got nothing to say. So then they don't need to say nothing. But I got plenty to say. And so, but God puts in my spirit to, Mark Cephas calls it, I have the gift to uplift. That's the Lord. But my point is, we hear these things. You're too this, you're too that, or like you deal with health and wellness. Some people may have heard all their life, you too fat, or you too skinny, or like among black people, you're too dark skinned, or you're too light skinned, or among white people, you got too many freckles, your hair is too straight. Whatever it is that we've heard all our lives, whether from family, whether from school, whether from the neighborhood, whatever it is, we take that into our adult lives and then we internalize it, and everyone that deals with us, we're still operating in that. Well, there's a problem. It must be me. Maybe I'm overreacting again. There's a problem. Well, it must be me. Maybe I'm being too talkative. When it's none of that, you're being yourself. Everybody else is being their self while they're trying to shut you down, but they're being themselves. You see what I'm saying? So we have to, like you said, I love how you put it, that spiritual connection to help us to affirm ourselves. Because once we believe that the somebody that's bigger than you and I says you're okay, says you're worthy of love, says you're worthy of value and respect. You don't have to let I have let so many people disrespect me because I didn't realize I was worthy of respect. But baby, once I got the memo, I've written this second book, You Are Not a Toilet. Learn to see yourself through God's eyes. It's going to bring deliverance to everyone that reads it. They'll get deliverance before they finish the book. But I suffered many of decades and tears. I had to learn. Terry, no, you're not overreacting. Terry, no, you don't talk too much, because I'm not all in people's business. That's talking too much when you're all up in everybody else's business. And I don't do that. You are worthy of value. You are worthy of affirmation. We all have to get to that point. And when we do, sis, that's when the magic happens. Because even though I've been dealing with a horrible issue with my leg, my birthday was a couple of weeks ago. I just turned 53. I am living my best life. I have an amazing, amazing life. I am, as you can see, emotionally healthy. I have not always been able to say that, even as a Christian. But baby, it works. Take the spiritual journey. You are worth it. Take the spiritual journey. Look inside yourself. Remember, you are worthy of respect. You are worthy of attention. You are worthy of being heard. And if you're dealing with people that don't want to give you that, then just slowly cut them loose and get around people that will affirm your value.
As they used to say, you got to have the gift of bye-bye. Sometimes you just got to let people go and let them deal with their ugly
Completely.
selves and with themselves, and let me deal with me, and maybe we'll
Yeah.
get together and down the road. But, yeah, you got to have the gift of bye-bye, letting toxic people go out of your
Yep.
life. And
Mm-hmm.
I have
It
one of
works.
my clients, Tarina, she says, amen, and you are worthy. And we are worthy. We are worthy to be loved, to be treated right, and we are not toilets. And if you've got toxic people in your life, that's not affirming your health, both spiritually, mentally, and physically, they just need to go, and it's time. Then you can start over. But I love this conversation.
Me
She said,
too.
I like the gift of bye bye. Yes, I like the gift bye bye. Go away. I don't
The
need you.
gift of bye bye.
When you get to a certain point in life, when you are affirming who you are and you're growing and maturing and you're becoming your best self, you cannot be your best self if you have toxic people that are
You
emotionally
cannot.
crippling you, that are not going to let you be your best self. That is my motto. That is my tagline for my business: living your best life right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't
Yes.
wait down the street. Right now, today. And so we can't do that if we have people
Right now.
that are going to trip us up, hold us down, and keep us from being the best we can be. So Terry, tell us,
Well,
give
since
us your book.
we get
Okay, go ahead.
concerned about losing their love, that's what happens. Oh, excuse me. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
We get concerned about losing someone's love, and that holds us hostage. And people will hold their love hostage for you. Like basically, if you don't bow down to the mess and the toxic that I'm giving you, then I'm not going to love you. You have to learn to tell yourself, baby, with that kind of love, God forbid should you ever hate me. You just sit right over there in that corner and just stay right there. But I'm gonna love on myself. So when I learned to not be worried about losing people's love for me, because that ain't real love. Because real love is unconditional, like you know what I'm saying, like our spiritual connection. So when I got delivered from that oh God, if I don't let them dog me, if I don't let them disrespect me, if I don't let them treat me like toilet, then they're going to stop loving me. Baby, let them stop, quote unquote, loving you, because there's better love out there. Like you said, sis, it'll come find you. You don't have to go looking. I have a fantastic circle, which you are a part of, that loves me for me. I didn't have to come looking for you. You all the way in Missouri. I'm in Georgia. But yet our hearts are in the right place and we love one another. We treat one another with respect, and it will come find you. I have an awesome circle. I hardly have any toxic people in my circle. And for those that I can't completely cut off or give the gift of bye-bye, I love that. You limit your conversation and you limit your involvement. And
Wow.
It works.
And it works. Well, Terri, this has been a great show today. I'm just going to reiterate the 5 things that Terri said that we should do to help us to have emotional health and to have emotional health. And one of it was spiritual connection, knowing that we are worthy, and it's okay to get help. That is so key. It's okay to get help and replace toxic people with healthy people. And then reiteration. And so that's getting into yourself, knowing who you are, being happy in who you are, loving yourself. And so show us your book, Terri. Is there a link to your book?
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to think if I will put this on Amazon right now. All they have to do is just go to my Facebook page. People have been buying my books, and someone bought another book yesterday. And so my first book is on Amazon, but I got to get this second book on Amazon. But right now they could just contact me on Facebook, and I'll mail them a copy. I already got all my postage and envelopes, and people have been buying my books. I've sold quite a few books.
Well, what I'll do, Terri, is I'll put your link in the show note, and in the show notes, I'll put the link. And if somebody wants Terri's book, they can contact her directly. If you're watching this on replay and you've got some questions for Terri, because she has her degree in psychology, is that correct?
And on the graduate level, I'm degreed and certified in marriage and family therapy.
Okay. And so she's certified, she's degreed, and she has a counseling service. And so if someone wants additional help in that area,
with Dania, yes.
Her and her partner can help you, and so you can reach out to her. While we were talking, I do have a book or a course that I created. It's called the 5 Fives for Daily Strategies for Living Your Best Life. And I like, and so it just kind of, I don't promote myself and my stuff that much, but I am going to promote this course. It's a full course on my website, and it's a book that can be downloaded. And Tarina, I owe you your gift. What I want to do, Tarina, for you, because she's my best. I love her. I'm going to print it up and I'm going to gift it to you. I don't want you to have to download it, but with COVID, I hadn't been able to print it, Tarina, for you. But I'm going to print it and I'm going to bring it to you, and we're going to sit in your backyard in your hot tub, and we're going to do this book together, Tarina. So anyway, it's 5 things that's going to for your daily strategy. So 5 things you're proud of yourself for. 5 things you are grateful for every day. 5 things to affirm yourself. 5 I am affirmations. 5 things to win your day, and 5 things to visualize your future. And I believe if you can do that every day, it is going to help you emotionally, and it's going to help you to release toxicity and toxic people, toxic thoughts out of your life. And when you write it down, get it from your head, from your heart, write it down, you'll be able to read it every day, and it's going to build you up, help you to get stronger, and both spiritually, mentally, physically. And so that's my 5 Fives for living your best life daily. And it's something I created, and I know it was God that gave it to me. And my coach, I have a business coach. I am a coach, but I have 2 or 3 coaches that help me. And my business coach, she's like, Melisha, that is so good. I really want you to put it in a book. So I've got it like in a workbook where you can write notes in it, and then you can write every day. It's like a journal almost. And so it's something I created. God gave it to me, and I'm very proud of it. And so then I created a
I
whole
am too.
course on my website, so you can go to my course, and there's videos to go with every one of the 5 fives. And so I would love for somebody to be a part of that group. And so if you want that, let me know. I will offer it a discount. If someone say, Melisha, I watched your show today with Terri Wooten-Coughman. I want the 5 fives for living your best life. I'm going to give it to you at a discount today. And then anybody that's watching today that wants to become a part of my founders membership, I've got some great stuff for you. Anybody in your group, Terri, I would love to be able to coach them on their health and wellness. And so that's it. I've got some other great stuff going on, but I'm not going to talk about it. But Terri, I've known you since college. Was I a teenager? No, I was in my 20s when we met, but that was probably over 30 years ago. I'm 58 years old. I'm proud to say my age. And so I've known Terri for a long time.
I'm 53.
And
I'm 53 and we look fabulous.
Yes.
And we're grandmamas.
And we're grandmothers. You've got more grandkids. And Terri's got the most beautiful kids that are my babies. Every one of them, I call them my babies because I only have one son, but her kids are my babies. And so I appreciate you being on today. Does anybody have any questions before Terri, before we leave? I'm going to give you the link for her book, and you can order it. And if anybody in Terri's group wants to reach out to me for some health coaching, I would love to talk to you. But God is just good, and I appreciate the platform and the avenues that He's allowed me to reach people all around the world, sharing and working with other coaches and other people that are going to help people. Next week, I've got next week. I've got Jasmine Stevens next week. She talks about sugar. She has a sugar detox. That show, because of her religion, because of the church things that she does, we're going to do the show live on Friday next week, I believe. I need to confirm with her still, but we should have a show next week, or I'll just replay one of my other ones. And then I've got some good guests coming. I've got Linda Harris. She's from the UK, and we're going to be talking about health and fit and traveling with confidence. And then I've got Maggie Jeffrey coming up. We're going to be talking about reflexology. I've got shows. And so this is my goal, is to help us to be healthy, but do it holistically with other people. And I appreciate this. You can anybody that wants to, if you don't want to go to my Facebook page, you can be subscribed to my YouTube channel. I need to build up my YouTube channel. It's Melisha Bailey. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can see all the shows there in my YouTube channel. So I appreciate everyone being with me today. Terri, you got any last words for us before we go?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, please, don't forget, post that link to your YouTube show on the women's page, because I want to make sure I subscribe. Subscribe to mine too, but I want to make sure I subscribe to yours. Secondly, when you do these shows, just keep posting in the page, and you definitely can post on my page. I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and I'm proud to see you living your best self and your best life. But see, we have to be living our best selves and our best lives to appreciate and enjoy and embrace someone else living their best lives. You see what I'm saying? So, and I see you doing it, and you're glowing. You look gorgeous. I'm proud of you doing this podcast. Please put the link so that we can subscribe to your YouTube channel. Keep up the excellent work. I'm glad God created you, and we love you.
I have
you
one
look
of my
absolutely amazing.
All the way from Florida, Janetta, and she says she's 72 and her health has turned around tremendously, and she is glowing and looking good. And I'm so proud of what you've done, Janetta. Thank you, my friend. I love you, Janetta. So, and I appreciate everyone that was on today. This has been a fantastic show. And you just guys do my heart so good. So Terri, we're going to end the show, but I want you to stay in the studio so we can talk a little bit after the show.
Yes,
Reach
ma'am.
out to me on my Facebook pages, on my YouTube, and let me know how I can assist you in your journey for health and wellness. My name is Melisha Bailey, and I am your sister in the journey. I am here for you. I want you to be happy, healthy, and whole, and I want you to live your best life each and every day, but I want you to live it your best life today. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.